Hi, everybody. This is Paul Hitchcock. I'm the founder and president of Giant Jacks Media. This is my channel, Giant TV, where I have incredible entrepreneurs doing amazing things. And certainly, Chad Bonner is one of them. He is an executive coach and Vistage Chair in the Austin, Texas area. Chad, thanks for jumping on.
Of course. Hey, great to be here, Paul. Appreciate all the work behind the scenes and nice to talk to everybody today.
Yeah. And obviously, Chad, you and I have gotten to know each other over the months here, and a lot of respect for what you're doing there. And I want to get into it. So tell me, what are you building there in Austin with your Vistage group?
Yeah, so let me start with this. I think that a realization I had when I was the CEO of a healthcare company and then founding other businesses in the past, also being in military leadership, we always wear masks. We carry these masks around, and ultimately, depending on the room you're in, you put on a different one. When you're leading an organization, as I found, there became this executive isolation, this moment where my mask was always on, in that I knew the vision ahead, I knew all the answers, I knew I really didn't. I was figuring out as I went through. And ultimately, that epiphany, that realization is what really landed me within the world of Vistage. So, Vistage is a peer group of CEOs, character based first, but ultimately, we're all about growth of self and growth of our businesses. And it provides the room, Paul, to get to your question, for the ability for you to remove the mask. If
Right.
you're out there, if you're leading a company, if you're leading a group of people and you've got this massive thing that you're taking on, and you've obviously got, most of us have families, you don't want to bring them all of your problems. There's no place to go. This is that room that allows that. So that's what really intrigued me about it. And that's what I found. And that's what we built, Paul.
I love it. And before I get into actually what you're doing there in the trenches with Vistage, I want to ask you that your move into becoming a Vistage chair. I mean, you're a very passionate guy in everything that you're involved with. Um, what was your motivation for doing it? Initially, like, was there one overriding issue for you?
Yeah, for me, I'll tell you, I've done, post leaving the military, I've been in 11 different industries, many of those leadership, some individual, and all the while I found myself working for the excuse me, of something that wasn't fulfilling my purpose, right? And my purpose being that of growth of self, growth of my family, and growth of those I'm around. I
Hmm.
found myself, and this was 23, I found myself in essence internationally trying to close big things for Silicon backed company, whereby I didn't have anything left for me. I didn't listen to the
Right.
symptoms that affected my health. And ultimately I had this moment where, okay, huge scare, went into the timetable of sitting there and waiting to recover, and then I was going to get back in it. And I had this realization, Paul, of I don't want to go back to the old doldrums of just pursuing something for the sake of pursuit,
Yep.
pursuing accomplishment that wasn't in line with where I wanted to go, and that was, be it money or other things. So I totally got out of the world of serving other masters, and the master I serve now is growth of people, growth of first and foremost myself, my family, and that. So I took a huge step back. All the while, since leaving the military, I've been mentoring people, I've been coaching
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
on and off, no matter what organization I've been in. This, though, seemed like and was perfect for aligning where I was interested in, what my competency was, what my passion is. So I went in full force in
Yep. Yep.
2024, and that's what I began. That's what did it. In essence, Paul, to play that back, I listened to the symptoms of issues I was going through, and rather than just putting them on the side as we all do in life, I said, okay, let's dig in and see what this really is. And then I went full force at aiding people in their lives and in their businesses.
Yeah, and you made reference to the type of person that you want in the group there. You made a small reference there. I want to dig on that. Who is appropriate for Vistage and why does it matter?
Yeah, and I'll speak to my group, right, specifically, because other chairs do different things. Other
Yeah.
leaders view it differently. But here's the lens with which I operate. And this is backed based on my military service, West Point grad service in the Army as a leader for a time. Integrity first, servant leadership, meaning taking care of the team, taking care of the company, not just myself. Egoless, We look for growth-minded individuals, not just growth in business at the sacrifice of self, but that full force of what matters to me, what buckets in my life do I want to grow in? Because that's also a part of what this is. This isn't just business. This is growth of self. Um, Egoless, I mentioned, and then lastly, it's this: you're not the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
You want to come in with the ability to learn from others, despite if it's in a roofing organization or a civil engineering company or somebody in banking that has no pertinence to your company. By listening and understanding where they're coming from, you can take those lessons. So
Hmm.
all of those things wrapped up, it's character first to get back to it, Paul. That at the core. And what that allows is, you're in a trusted group, talking about removing the mask, where you can be vulnerable and truthful with where you are. And everybody is sharpening each other and themselves through this time. So that
And
at the
so,
baseline is what we look for. Go ahead.
yeah, love it, love it. And so, what does happen at Vistage? Talk a little bit about the you're getting together monthly, and then the one-to-ones. Lay that out for me.
Yeah, so month to month we meet, we roll up our sleeves, and in essence, we come together in person and we work on our biggest issues. What is the most strategic thing facing you in your business? What is the biggest area of opportunity? And in essence, iron in that room sharpens iron. So it's with love, it's with humility and grace, but it's also with challenge that we challenge one another. And the process is very clean. We bring in top tier speakers. Those speakers are aligned by me based on the needs of the group. So,
Mm,
for example, AI is a hot topic. We, of course,
yeah.
have an AI top tier speaker, things like that. We work through our issues, but also we grow as humans. So, I facilitate different workshops where they do breakouts and they grow together. So, that's the structure. It's coming together once a month in person and then one on one with me from a virtual and an in person coaching.
Yeah, so on the group meetings monthly, your certain members of the group are hosting at their
Yep.
locations. Is that how it works?
That is correct. So we rotate it around from member to member. What that allows, the cool piece of that is we have the ability to see the nuance of their business and the team that they've formed and created. So we could walk around and understand the dynamic. And ultimately, that gives them a real clear picture of feedback from other CEOs that have no stake in their business.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah, we're
cool.
rotating around and getting the visibility in everybody's company.
And then you have the meeting, and then you're isolating a member or two. Correct me on this on handling issues for that member. I mean, you're not discussing everyone's issues all at once in that meeting. How do you break it down into what issues you're processing and who it's with?
Yeah, so definitely. And this depends on the meeting. Okay. So every time we definitely will have what's called issue processing. And this issue
Yeah.
processing is a foundational and proprietary through the method of Vistage. Vistage has been around for years, the largest CEO peer group based organization worldwide. And it's a phenomenal process. So every
Yeah.
month in the room, we say, okay, who has an issue that is important and urgent? Important and urgent get the A's. And then we go down the line. Sometimes in the meetings, we get to all issues, but we start there. And
Got
I'll
it.
also say this: if somebody is going through something drastic, for example, and this has occurred in many groups whereby offer of an acquisition or ultimately a family member that's a part of the company now just felt ill, we need to tackle that. That takes press. That takes the pressing nature. So we
Okay.
work through these issues, and the way it works is you present what the issue is. It's a question of, how do I blank? The team weighs in. You come out on the other end with a much more deliberate understanding of what you should do to alleviate or begin solving that problem. And someone in the room holds you accountable. That gets back to the power of the peer. Someone in the room will hold you accountable to that execution of beginning to solve that issue.
Yeah, and it's not admonition of anything. It is a coming together and it's a supportive role. I've heard you talk about this before. What is your role in the issue processing chat? I mean, are you standing back and people are going at it, or what are you doing?
Yeah, and I'll say this, it's not people going at it, it's people where it's needed, people will challenge harder because you tend to have a line in the sand of, hey, this is what I think is actually going on. But through the dialogue, through that cultivated group with character centric challenges happen that makes it a better outcome, right? So what I'm doing is simply facilitating.
Hmm.
The group weighs in. This is a power of the peer group, not me. It's just facilitated by me. I make sure that it stays on the tracks from
Okay.
a let's reroute us back to the issue. Let's reroute us to what does this mean deeper? Tell me more about what this actually affects you. How does it affect the company? What do you do at your home front because of this? When you go back to your wife and kids, what does that look like, or your husband? That's where I facilitate, just to keep it back on the track so that the outcome is success for that person that's gone through the issue, as well as, and is a powerful one, sometimes the biggest gains in these meetings isn't from the person that had the issue itself. It's from someone listening and takes that back to their business because they're either going through something similar or
Oh,
something really resonated with them through that process. So that's my position, is really just guardrails and facilitating.
interesting. And are you finding that when these CEOs come in the room, they truly are opening up, letting the guard down and getting out there? Is that does happen?
So this is where I think that the chairs and the leaders of these organizations from a facilitation standpoint really matters. And through my dissection and selecting in the proper candidates, the proper people that should be in this room, I understand very clearly, are they after growth? Are
Yeah.
they egoless? Will they be vulnerable? So I ask some questions through that, because once they get into that door, what they will find as a new member to our group specifically, and we're at 13 members, we're going to 18 by year end. So I'm really looking to fill the final 5 to 6 seats here. But what they'll find is immediate vulnerability by leaders of companies. And then their
Yep.
walk away from that first meeting is, I didn't realize this was out there. I didn't realize people would be this vulnerable in these spots in business, because outside looking in, everybody looks like they got it handled, but they
Right.
don't.
Yeah.
So immediate vulnerability without a doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. And then tell me about the one-to-one. So outside of this monthly group meeting, you're having one-to-ones. Are those in person, virtual, and what's happening at the one-to-ones?
Yeah, so one-to-ones, the way I do it is this. And again, I've been in many companies in the past, led some, been employees within. The last thing I will ever do is give answers to people, right? Where I come in for this one-on-one is I challenge their answers. I ask the questions others won't. I dig in deep, because the way I view everybody that comes in, and there's a question I asked at the very beginning, is where do you want to be in a few years, and what does that success look like to you? That, because this that excuse me, becomes the standard with which I look at them as. I gauge them as that. Every decision is based around that. They have their friends and family from high school and growing up days. They view them as that younger them. They have the
Yeah.
people now that see them where they are. I see them out here. So I
Hmm.
hold them 100% to that. And the challenging questions that I ask comes from that lens. So these are very much in person and virtual, depending on the CEO.
Yep.
Given the nature of it all being in Central Texas and Austin, we have that ability.
Yep.
So I work that out with each CEO independently. Some
Yeah.
love virtual, some would rather meet. Happy to do either, and we can schedule that.
And who are you looking for now? What seats are open?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I am looking specifically for really five. And these five, again, I think as the character traits that I'm looking for, and I won't say the business lines, I won't say the industries, I'm open to several industries. Okay.
Hmm.
But the character of, I want to grow. I want to grow, and I know that I can't get there by myself. Okay. These are leaders that understand the opportunity ahead, and they understand and are aware of all the uncertainties, be it AI, macroeconomics, all the various battles that we're facing, both militarily, domestically, all of those things within our businesses. And they want to come and they want to grow and improve. That's what I'm looking for. So the limited number, though, is important, because I only have these seats to fill, and then we're done with this group, right?
Yep.
Now, who's in the room? We have an incredible commercial banker, say, so we come from the banking world. We've got engineers, we have manufacturers, we have people in finance, we have teams in technology, we have residential and commercial service companies, i.e., like roofing, electric, things like that. But these are all either founder owners or private equity backed or corporate CEOs rolling up to boards of other people, but it's with the vein of the character traits that I mentioned.
Yep.
That's the glue
Yep.
of the organization. That's who we're looking for.
Yep. And do you find that these leaders in your group network and support each other outside of the structure? Like, are they becoming like a support group for each other ongoing?
There's no one that understands what one goes through in the seat that these CEOs and founders are in like themselves. And this is a mirror of who they are. So 100% they get together. In fact, last week, we have a gentleman that actually runs an agri-entertainment company. And in essence, it's a massive farm for holidays, for kids, for families. It's incredible. But he had many of the members come out and they were all hanging out. They were getting to know, peeling
Oh, that's
back,
cool. That's cool.
socializing. Without a doubt, this becomes that you vent, you share, you grow together, you push each other, but these become lifelong friends. This is what I found, even in the group since 2025 that we formed.
Yeah. Yeah. Knowing you, that makes a lot of sense. I'm sure you're fostering that environment that allows that to flourish. Got to say, anybody watching this, Chad's information is going to be around this. So we stream this in many different places. Maybe it's up here or down here. Chad, I imagine you'd be happy to get on a Zoom with somebody and get acquainted, right? I mean, your talk is they got to get to know you and vice versa. Is that the best way to frame it, your initial discussion?
Yeah, I'd say the best is very simply a 20-minute conversation. We get to know one another very clearly. I give as much insight as asked, and I ask you specific questions. And these questions aren't questions such as very softball, where do you want to go and all that, but this is rubber meets the road stuff because
Yep.
my value that I offer, the value that our CEOs currently have, and my commitment to every CEO that comes on board is growth,
Yep.
growth and success. So come with the lens of I'm going to share more than I might in just first meeting somebody, but it very much begins with a 20-minute conversation. And then post that, we both decide mutually, hey, does this serve us? Does this align to the group? Does this align to you? And if so, let's dig in deeper for a 1 hour discussion. And from there, we go into the process of potentially selecting you be a part of the group. That's the approach.
It's good stuff. Chad, appreciate you being here. I know you and I are going to talk again, and thanks.
Of course. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
All right.